It's not even red velvet. Ah!
Throws the cake on the ground. Guys, what a start of an episode, and what an amazing episode. Episode 2 of Joey's season of The Bachelor. Let's get straight into it. So the episode starts off with Lauren sitting out with Joey outside of the mansion, right? We know how we're doing this whole thing where we're kind of just going straight into the episode with basically a scene of like the episode, which is like an ending scene or something like that, right? So Lauren is pissed. At this point, obviously, we're watching. We have no idea why she's pissed, but she's sitting there with Joey, and Joey's just like, I just wanted to check in with you and make sure that you're doing okay. And she just feels like it just seems like she just like is over it. Like she doesn't want to talk to him. I don't even care anymore because I'm clearly the last one to talk to you. So like, what does it matter or something like that? And she's just really annoyed, and Joey's just like, oh, I'm really sorry. And at this point, I'm like, so is she leaving? Did he say, is this like after he didn't give her a rose and he's like, I want to walk you out? Like, when is this, right? Like, literally, this is what I was thinking the whole time. But the producer or someone comes out and gives her a cake, and she's like, oh, great, here's my cake. Thank you. Here's my cake. Lauren, this woman, she is reality TV gold. And I swear I don't know if it's sometimes when people come on the show, they just know that they're going to be perfect for reality TV because, my God, is she enjoyable to watch on TV? Oh my God, it's literally like reality TV gold. Like people who are just meant to be on reality TV because they have those personalities. I can't wait. All I'm going to say is I cannot wait to see her in Bachelor in Paradise because we know for sure that her and her sister Allison will be on that beach next season. Mock my words. They will be there, and especially Lauren will be there. But anyway, back to she gets the cake. Joey, she's like kind of talking to him, and she ends up like putting the cake on the ground, and Joey's just like, okay, like you can just tell he's just like, all right, I think we're gonna say goodbye now. So she says goodbye. He says thank you. He walks away. She stuffs the cake in her mouth, like literally claws at this cake, stuffs it in her face, and then says, it's not even red velvet. It's not even red velvet. And just throws the cake on the ground. Shooketh. Shooketh, my friends. Shooketh. What a way to start this episode. My God. So, of course, we're going to be rewinding to, I guess, the week before, the night before, whatever it is. I don't know how much time there is between. I'm assuming a week. I'm assuming it's a week, but I could be wrong. I don't know. So, Joey and Jesse Palmer, JP, they're playing tennis. They're going back and forth. They're like, ooh, two guys playing tennis, talking about the women in the house. Joey's talking about how he's eager to meet the women. We see the women move into the house. They're basically, obviously, the first day they're just there just to kind of at nighttime. They're tired, but this is the first time they're actually like picking their beds and doing all that stuff. There's 22 women left, which I was very wrong on my counting last time, clearly. But Jesse pops in and he asks the ladies about Joey, how they feel about him. We find out that there's going to be 3 dates this week, which are 2 group dates, and one lucky woman will have her the first one-on-one with well, I almost said who it was before we got there. We almost got there. And a one-on-one date. So this is going to be a long episode. Lots of women to get through. But we got to file them through. Because at the end of the day, there will only be one. So let's just, let's get to it. So the group date is first. And of course, we're having the here comes the bride moment kind of date. Where basically everyone has to run and go put on a wedding gown and go and meet Joey. Usually, it happens every season. But usually it's like a photo shoot or something like that. This time, very different. But actually, before we get into that, we find out. So we have all the girls in their limos with their wedding dresses on, and we have Maria who's talking into like a GoPro camera, kind of like vlogging. And she's like, "Oh my God, like I miss my dad. Like I can't wait to see him." And Lauren is next to him, and she starts crying, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, what's going on?" We find out that not too long ago, I believe it's like only 7 months prior of the filming of this, her dad had passed away, and she gets really emotional thinking about the idea that her father will not be there to walk her down the aisle or to have her father-daughter dance, which is absolutely devastating. I can't imagine what that would feel like. So she is just she gets she spirals pretty hard from now on, and now we kind of see like how we get to the end of or the beginning of this episode where it kind of showed why Lauren was kind of really off her, was spiraling. But this is kind of the beginning of the spiral, which is, of course, completely understandable. She just gets very, very emotional. But we find out they all get to wherever they're supposed to be meeting Joey. Joey's got his tux on, looks super handsome. All the girls are there with their wedding dresses. And we find out what a great idea for a date. I'm not going to lie. What a great idea for a date. We find out that they're going to be doing a wedding reception setup. We're supposed to act like this is their reception after getting married. So they walk in and they introduce Joey and his 19 or however many women it is, 15 women, whatever it is. I can't do math. And it's very weird. It's very weird. It was weird at first, because you have like all these random people in the audience. I'm like, how are these people chosen to be in the reception? But I don't know who any of these people are. Obviously, extras, whatever it is. It's a little bit weird, but then it gets really good because they decide that there's going to be a competition, basically, because only one girl will win the dance with Joey, the bride and groom dance. So basically, the first thing they have to do is they play a bridal musical chair. So Joey's sitting at this long table, and Joey's sitting in the middle, and they have this music playing, and the girls have to go around the table, and whoever gets a seat, and whoever doesn't. And obviously, you want to be next to him. Who wants to be next to him, right? So the girls are going around. People are taking very different kind of approaches. The music stops, and oh my God. So we have Evelyn, who literally... literally, you saw it. You saw it. And if you didn't, I'm just going to picture it. She literally leaps. Like, when I mean, leaps over the table to try to get to sit next to Joey. Joey's literally, like, in slow motion, like watching her literally just, woo, because she doesn't make it. Lauren gets to sit there first, so she ends up sitting at the end of the table. But my God, A for effort, because that girl, she jumped for her life, like if her life depended on it. So in the end, Maria and Lauren get to sit next to him, and the next thing that they all have to do is they're all going to work the room with Joey, for him to kind of decide who does he want to pick to do the slow dance with. So he goes around with all the girls. They all do different things. They're chatting on the side, etc., etc. Maria goes first, and you can definitely tell that he's very into her. And boy, will we find out that he is very, very into her. Then we have Lauren. We have Lauren, who is feeling very uncomfortable. You see her kind of on the sidelines, kind of feeling very down. And then you have a moment where her and she's kind of like in the backstage area. I don't know, just like in the back. And Maria is talking to her and just making her feel very, supported, and just say that she's there for her, and gives her kind of a pep talk and stands up for her. And it was a very nice moment to kind of see Maria kind of have this side to her. And Maria, to me, we'll get into it because she was the star of this episode. So much happened around her. I still don't know how I feel. I like her. I do. I can't say that I dislike her. She has a very fun personality. She's definitely going to keep Joey like on his toes, like he says. That's like his favorite things to say about her, is like, this girl's going to keep me on my toes. And I think that's what he likes about her, is that she gives him like this extra, like he's got to be on it all the time. And he really, really likes her. But I kind of like her, but then at the same time, I don't know if he likes her more of just like an attraction thing, or if there's more there. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of them together in a much more vulnerable and a much more special kind of way. But then we have Joey and Jess talking on the side or whatever, and everyone, you could just tell, like, just absolutely, especially I believe her name was Taylor, just despises her, like just is giving her the evil eye from the side like no other. But you have everyone in the audience who, for a fact, producers were like, tell him a kiss, 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 kiss. So the crowd keeps going, kiss, 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 kiss. So they kiss in front of everyone, and everyone's like, oh, great, they kissed again. Like, this sucks. They just are really hating on Jess. And I'm just like, whatever. Like, Jess is one of those people at this point that she'll go kind of far, but she's mostly there to really, even though I think he likes her, but I don't think she's going to go like super duper duper far. I could be wrong. I could be very wrong. Who knows what will happen next episode, but I do feel like she's just going to be kind of like she's going to do really good. She's going to be swimming. She's going to be doing good. And then she might spiral and shit might hit the fan at some point. But then we have a wonderful moment, my friends. We have Rachel, who is our resident Hawaii girl. I love her. She's so beautiful. My God. She gets up and she gives like a toast. She's like, I want to present to you my husband, Joey, and everyone. And she sells it. She knew what she was doing. She sold it. I said yes. She basically tells everyone in the crowd like why she married him, about why she loves him, and he is so impressed by her. And he feels good with her. And when he kind of said this, and she kind of had that moment where she did a flawless toast. May I say? Like, I can't believe she made that up on the fly because it was pretty damn good. I knew that he was going to choose her for the slow dance, and he does. They dance together, and guys, Michael Bolton made an appearance on this episode. He came out, he's a special guest singer, and he sang, "When a man loves a woman." I said, the man has still got it. Michael Bolton has still got it. Oh my God, I was so happy to see him. My mom loved him growing up. I literally remember. I think I went to his concert like as a kid with my mom. Like I have a vivid memory of going to a concert of Michael Bolton with my mom and my aunt. I still don't know if I dreamt this, but I'm like positive I've been to a concert by him, like when I was little. But they kiss in front of everyone. They have like their cute moment, and there was chemistry there. You definitely saw it, and you could tell that the women who were watching, unfortunately, could see the chemistry too. But there was a difference between how they looked at Rachel dancing and kissing like the Joey. It was very different than if it was Jess up there. Like if it was Jess up there, they all would have been hating because they don't like her. But they clearly have, respect, and they really like Rachel because they were all just like, oh, like this sucks having to see them. But man, like you can see the chemistry. I didn't want to look away. My God, But if it was Jess, they would have been like, of course she won. Like she made herself known, and she made and kissed him and all this. They would have made all this whole ordeal. So yeah, but we have the after party come next, and boy, oh boy, do we have a lot of stuff going on into this after party, my friends. We have so much to say about this after party. So he gets there, and Maria, of course, grabs him first. She knows what she's doing, and she is wearing this outfit that I'm like, girl, your boobs you could have a nip slip so easily. But it's very cute, and this is definitely her personality. She could definitely pull this off. Not every woman could pull off this look, but she has like this like white kind of short mini dress with like a corset with no bra, and like it's just very free up here, but very also tight in the waist because she's wearing like a corset. So he sits next to her. They're sitting on the couch, and you could just tell he is so physically attracted to this woman. Like you could just tell by the way he looks at her that he is like, I definitely want to bring this girl to the fantasy week kind of thing, right? But at the same time, you can also see that he kind of wants to learn more about her. He's like, hey, I don't know much about you other than you're like, you're Canadian, like you're from Ontario. Like, I would love to learn more about you. And she kind of like, this is what I worry about this relationship. And let me know in a comment below if you feel the same way. But you could tell that he kind of wanted to kind of dive a little bit more into the vulnerable ass side of her, or to get to know her more aside from like the physical attractiveness that he knows he has for her. But she kind of leaned into him when he said like, hey, I want to know more about you. And she's like, okay, well, first, like, do you mind if I go change into something more comfortable? And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? I'm like, okay, this is weird. She leaves the room, and he's just like waiting there like, okay, what's going on? This bitch, I mean, a goddess, a queen. She comes back in an even sexier outfit. I mean, she's got like this long skirt with literally like just like almost like a bra type thing with these like long sleeves attached to it. It kind of reminded me what the Little Mermaid wears, where she has just like that little bra thingy. She was wearing like a little black bra with her midriff just open showing, and it's like long sleeve like dress sling. It was weird, but she was barely wearing no skin. When she sat on that couch and he saw her, if it was allowed, they probably would have went to the boom boom room and just got it out of their systems, because there was some sexual tension in the room. My oh my. And you could see that. You could see in his eyes that he was like, va va boom. Wow, this girl is hot and I want to have sex with her. That's like what I was picturing. But then this is what I'm saying when I'm thinking about their relationship as a whole right now, which obviously I'm pretty sure will develop more as the women start to leave and it starts to be just kind of her. Because I also did see in the preview, I'm pretty sure she gets a one-on-one at some point. She's really like leaning into the like, I am sexually attracted to you. She even tells him this one thing that I think was really smart. She tells him like, oh, I don't normally feel this way, but I'm like feeling really jealous. Like I don't normally feel this way, but I'm feeling really jealous. And obviously that's going to be an ego boost for him. Like he's going to be like, oh man, really? Like for other guys you don't really get jealous? Like this must be because I'm special, like kind of thing, right? So she knows what she's doing, but I also don't think she's playing like an evil kind of like an evil game in a way. But she's also playing I know you wanna with me, I know you do, so I'm gonna play it up. And I just worry though that he eventually that's going to tire and he's going to want more from her other than it just being like, well, I'm just physically attracted to her, but can I have like a really serious conversation with her? We go back to the room where Jess is talking with other girls saying like, oh, I felt like people were putting me down today. I was hearing a lot of whispers and people talking about me. And I'm like, okay, I guess, whatever. But eventually she does end up going to talk with Joey, and she talks about her last relationship and how in the last relationship, it wasn't a healthy relationship. He didn't treat her right. I guess he just was a DICK to her. But she gets very emotional. She starts crying, and she's like, oh my God, but you're so perfect. I love you. Like, you're so perfect. And I'm like, okay. I mean, she doesn't say that, but that's what she says. And he basically, he relates to her and just tells her that, he wants her to feel safe with him. And it was a great moment for them. It solidified their relationship a little bit more, but not necessarily. Like, it was just, and so, who pointed it out? Evan on Your Mom and Dad podcast, he pointed out, which shout out to them because I absolutely love them. I love you guys. If you ever watched this, I love you guys. He was mentioning that, like, I think it was Evan and Jess who were both saying that, which is funny, Evan and Jess were talking about how Jess was not really making sense when she was correlating the fact that her last relationship wasn't really good with the girls talking bad about her. And they couldn't understand, like, why that correlated or how that made sense. And I completely agree. That's kind of how I was thinking about it after. I was like, but wait, how does this go together? I'm like, okay, I mean, like, it sucks that you had a really bad relationship. We're not undermining that. It's just how does that relate to anything? And Evan really believes that she's playing the game and she is a rehearsed woman. She is rehearsed. She knows how this game works and how the Bachelor franchise, works. And she is working the camera. She knows what she's doing. I can't disagree. Then you have the women at the house who are still getting antsy, trying to figure out if they're going to be on a group date or they're going to be on a one-on-one. So we find out that the next date is going to be on one-on-one. The envelope is there. They open it, and the first one-on-one goes to Miss Daisy, who I absolutely love, and I think all of America really loves. She is absolutely just a doll. I can't say anything about her. She really reminds me of Maddie from Peter's season, who I really loved Maddie. I know a lot of people gave her flack in that season, like, for the whole, like, being a virgin thing. Like, but aside from that, she never was part of the drama. She always stayed to herself. She was very sweet. Like, I never had an issue. Like, I really, really liked Maddie. I never had a problem with her. Let me know in a comment below what you thought about that whole Maddie and Peter thing. Oh, what a show. Don't let her go, Peter. Don't let her go. Remember when we thought that was about Madison and it turned out to be about Hannah? goodness. What a time. But basically, we find out that Daisy feels that she is ready now to tell Joey about her, hearing her situation and her implant that she has. Then we go back to the group date. Lauren is basically talking to Joey about how she felt and about her father passing away and everything. They have a really nice moment, and he appreciates her for opening up, and he's just so sorry to hear that she had to go through that for her, and that he feels for her, which obviously who wouldn't, right? Which at this point I was like, okay, so you've had two women be kind of vulnerable. You had Lauren and you had Jess. But I knew that it wasn't going to be Lauren was going to get the rose based on what we saw at the opening of this episode. So obviously I knew Jess was going to get it, and she does. I pretty much had called it, but yeah. And you just see Taylor just sitting in the chair, like hating the fact that this woman has gotten the group date rose, because that means she's safe another week. So we move on to the next day, where it is the one-on-one with Daisy, and she is so cute. She's wearing this like pink little number with sneakers on. She's so cute. I absolutely love her. She talks about how the first night, she gets in a limo, and she talks about how the first night was a lot of sensory overload. There was a lot of people, a lot of sounds that she just like, it was hard to kind of like pick up and put together. But she ends up meeting with Joey, and guess what, guys? It is helicopter time. I freaking hate helicopters. I have no intention of never being in one. They freak me out. I don't know what it is about it, but it's literally just like, it's not a plane, but it's just like a propeller on this moving I don't even know how to explain it, but I have no intention of ever being in a helicopter. They freak me out. And there's so many accidents that happen in there, which we all know. We lost a great basketball player, Kobe, to a helicopter crash, and that really freaks me out, and it makes me really, really sad to even think about it. So we're not going to talk about it anymore. So it turns out that they go on a helicopter ride. They're both really nervous. It's really cute. They have their moments. They're flying all over California, and then we find out that they're going to like a country festival in a way. And at first I was like, this is such a weird date. Like, at what point here are you ever really going to like talk or really like get to know each other as good? There's so many people around, and it's just loud. Like, they're doing all these things that are just going to make her like feel really uncomfortable, because she's somebody who's just new to getting an implant, and it's just a lot of sounds, lots going on. And they were like really just putting her in a really uncomfortable situation, and I didn't like that. And I just thought it was kind of a weird first date. But then I realized like why what Joey says. How true it is, I don't know. But Joey basically said that he chose this date because he wanted to do something very fun that he feels that he would do with his wife on a regular basis. And he felt like this is something that him and Daisy would do together, because they're both really into music and into country, and he just wanted to do something that it would seem very normal to them, and just to see how it went. But so that was cute. They get to talk a little bit, but I'm like, okay, I'm ready for like the real sit down where we can like chat about like vulnerable stuff. Like, I'm ready to get there. But before we get there, of course, they've got to make him dance in front of the crowd on stage to some country guy that Bahamas, I think his name is. No idea. I know nothing about country. No idea. But they're very cute. I'm definitely rooting for them. I still don't know if she's winning, but she's definitely like top 3. I'm pretty sure, or at least top 4. If not top 3, definitely top 4. But anyway, we find out, before I forgot to mention this, when they're having kind of the sit down at the festival, he asks her more about what she does, and she says she runs a nonprofit, which later on, he says, when they're having the one-on-one like dinner, he asked her that he wants to know more about the nonprofit. And that's when we get into her story, which we were waiting to hear so much more about, other than the fact that it's like, I lost my hearing. We find out that she was actually really, really sick since she was like really young, I think 17 or something like that. And she found out that she had Lyme disease, which was crazy. We had no idea. So we really found out so much about her. And we found out that she had lost her hearing on top of that. So there was a lot going on with her, and she ended up going to Germany, where she was able to get treated, and now she feels great. She's back to normal. She's very healthy. She just has this implant, that she has in her ear, and he is so impressed with her that she has been this vulnerable, that she's this strong of a woman to have gone through all the things that she has gone through in the last like 10 years of her life, 15 years of her life, maybe. I forget what years it were, but he kind of explained, he kind of asked her like, oh, like, yeah, I want to see it, like, how does it work, which was really cool because I didn't know how those implants that you wear, yeah, I didn't know that that's like how they worked. Like, you hear people differently and at different levels they might sound, or she might, if she's not in front of him, she might not know like that it's him that's talking to her. So it was very cool, like, and a good way to really represent that community and learn more about it. I was really, really about it, and I really loved Hazel. She is just like the sweetest doll. Like, she could not do anything wrong. Literally could not do anything wrong. But he does give her the rose, which I expected. I knew that he would. I was not even possibly thinking that they weren't. So super duper cute. But like I said, and I don't know yet if they're like we're winning kind of thing. But I do really like them together. They both are very calm and very similar kind of vibes though. And sometimes I wonder if I'm like, oh, is he going to be missing kind of like that spunk that kind of like Maria brings him, where he's like, wow, this girl is going to keep me on my toes kind of thing. Is he craving that, or is he craving someone to be more on his level kind of thing? But we'll find out more about that, well, as the show goes on, right? It's only episode 2. So the next morning we have Joey, of course, working out. He's in the middle of like it's not the desert, but he's in the California hills, whatever, working out with these big, like, you know, big tires. He's shirtless. Oh my god, yay, look at Joey shirtless, yay. Turns out it's a group date. All the girls show up, and then we have Demi and Jubilee from Bachelor in Paradise and other seasons, obviously, of The Bachelor, who come out and tell all the girls that they're going to be doing a Bachelor boot camp. They make them do like sit-ups and push-ups and all this crap that just did not seem fun whatsoever. Then they just say that they're going to play a game, which also made no sense whatsoever. It was like it was a weird date. It's just like, it wasn't the best way to really get to know Joey or talk to him, because at no point in this date did any of the women have a chance to talk to him. It was literally like, we're all going to play a game and then we're going to watch, and then they say whoever wins, the blue team or the pink team, they are going to have extra time with Joey. So it's basically like they have to throw paint at each other, stop each other from grabbing a heart that's on the other side. But then, so the blue team has to go to the pink side, get the heart, and then bring it back to their home base, and the same on the other side. And they have 3 rounds to do it. It was very weird. Edwina was killing it though. She was running for that heart like her life depended on it, just like Evelyn throwing herself over the freaking table to get next to Joey. But Joey, you could tell, really liked that spark, or not that spunk that Edwina had, for really jumping and going for it. But it was very weird because they said, oh, whoever the group is that wins, you will get an extra time with Joey. Well, it turns out, psych, producers were like, yeah, sorry, but no. Sorry, but no. Actually, Joey's going to decide which girl out of the blue group is going to get that special one-on-one time with Joey. And the girls are pissed. They're like, what? So I just did all of this, and I still might not even get it. That was wrong. ABC, producers, that was wrong. That was wrong. To me, at this point, I was like, well, obviously Edwina is gonna win, because it just makes more sense. Like, she's clearly the only one that really stood out to him in this whole date, because she's the only one that did anything. Everybody else just played the game, and that was it. So I don't know. It was weird. But anyway, we do find out later on that Edwina is the one who gets the one-on-one extra time with Joey, and she gets to spend special time with him. We find out more about her and her background, and how she's not very used to being very vulnerable in her family. She's always been the oldest and has always had to kind of like keep her head up high and feel like she has to, be on top all the time. And failure is not an option in her family. And because of that, she's not very good at opening up. And the kind of family upbringing she had, like, really kind of put her into this cocoon where she's not very good at being vulnerable. It was interesting to watch because you could definitely tell that she was like holding like the world on her shoulders, and kind of like letting all this kind of information out, I think allowed her to really become more vulnerable and show that side to Joey, which of course we know that he's wanting. He wants to see these vulnerable moments with these women and really get to know them on a more deeper side than it necessarily being just like, you know, an initial attraction kind of thing. But one thing I do notice about Joey and I really like is that he asks questions. I really like that. Like she was like, "Oh, I'm not very good at being vulnerable." And he's like, "Oh." He's like, "Okay, well, do you mind like sharing like what exactly, like why do you feel that way? Like why is it that you feel like you have a hard time opening up?" Like I just feel like he asks a lot of questions. And Joey, I appreciate that from you. I like Joey. I really do. There's one thing I will say about Joey at the end of this, so please stay tuned though, because there's this one thing that really grinds my gears about Joey, but we'll get there. And it's no hate about him because I actually really like him as a bachelor, so it's no hate towards him. Then this is getting interesting. So you have all the women back in the house who are basically, you know, waiting for I think they're waiting for Edwina to get back. I forget. They're all on the couch together, and she basically says that she's feeling really, like she's basically saying that she is feeling a very certain type of way because she is one of the oldest women in the house. She's 31 and she's, like I said, one of the oldest girls there. And at this point, and she says this and she realizes in the moment, like, oh shoot, I probably shouldn't have said that. She just felt weird after being like, oh shit, why did I tell all these random strangers that I feel kind of insecure about being 31 and being the oldest woman in this house? So you have Maria, who's about 28, very close to her age, and she does not feel this way at all about her age. She's just like, what? I'm like, why does she feel this way? So there's like this weird moment where obviously the cameras like are catching these weird angles of Maria talking to someone. We can't tell who she's talking to, but she is just being her typical self, just talking to this person and just saying like, I don't get it. Like, I'm old too. Like, what? Like, basically saying like, why is she complaining? Like, I'm old too. Like, you can't let this bother you, kind of thing. And then we have this girl named Sydney, who I never noticed her any other point until now, and it seems like she's gonna carry on to the next episode until she gets cut. But Medina, that's her name. I had it in my notes. We got there. Medina. She hears Maria talking smack about Medina. She's like, well, why is she talking smack about Medina? Like, Sydney's talking about saying this, like, Medina's my friend. Like, why would Maria be talking about her that way? Like, that's not fair. Like, I should let her know that she's being talked about. Just one of these ridiculous edits that happens every season where this one person always feels like they need to get involved and start, you know, spreading rumors or start saying things. And then it goes back to the Bachelor and they're like, oh, she's not here for the right reasons, that kind of stuff. And she's not a good person. And Joey should know that she's not the right person for him. That is the trope we're going with Sydney. That's where we're going. But back to Edwina and Joey. Joey gives her a rose, which of course I knew he would because she gave him the vulnerable stuff and he was very excited about it. I don't think she's going anywhere necessarily. I mean, she might go kind of far. I didn't really see that kind of spark between them, but I think he likes her. We go to the next day and we're finding out that people are stirring the pot about Maria still. It's basically saying everything like, oh, well, I heard that you said this. And Maria's like, wait, what? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, why are we starting like all of these rumors? Like, I didn't mean it in a bad way. Like, who is saying all of these things? Maria basically just says like, you know, all I was trying to say that like Medina shouldn't feel insecure about her. You know, I don't have a problem with her. I actually really like her. And it's true. Like, you didn't hear Maria saying anything like necessarily bad. She wasn't like, oh my god, Medina's such a bitch. Like, I can't stand her. Like, she shouldn't be here. Like, why would she say those things? She should leave. You know, she didn't say anything like that. She was just like, I don't understand. Like, I'm old too, girl. Like, it's fine. You know, she was kind of saying it like that. But of course, we have Sydney who just feels like she has something to say. Oh god. Just ridiculous. I forgot at this point it's the next night and we're in the cocktail hour. Forgot to mention that. We're in the cocktail hour at this point. Lexi has the funniest bit that I absolutely loved. So there's like an easel, and she's just like, okay, so I started drawing for you, and she's like, so I have a degree in art, and I really sell I knew the moment she started saying like, I have an art degree, like I used to do X, Y, and Z, like I sell my art. I was like, this bitch lying. This is a joke. She's probably gonna flip, and it's gonna be like some stick figure. And boom, I was right. That's exactly what it was. She drew basically Joey like as a clown, and it was super duper funny. But like, he didn't really laugh, and that's like the one thing that I've noticed about him is that he doesn't show a lot of like, he is very present, but he doesn't really show a lot of like stuff with his face, like emotion. I don't know if that's the word. It's not emotion, because he is emotional, but I don't know. I just feel that he really just kind of treats everyone the same, and it really bothers me. But I don't want to get ahead of myself, so let's just keep going. Lexi's funny. I really like her. You can see that there's definitely something there, and I'm definitely still calling Lexi for the top 4 at least. She's getting up there. I really, really like her. But a lot of standouts I did notice throughout this episode, just in general talking to Joey. Then we go back to Maria and this whole ridiculous thing going on about Medina and Sydney, and she said that you're old, that you shouldn't feel old about yourself. She's dismissing your feelings. All of this stuff that is literally being thrown out of proportion. And I agree with Maria on this. Maria is so annoyed. Maria is literally like, this is so stupid. This is the stupidest fight on Bachelor history. Why is this happening? But basically, Medina's outside, like getting ready for like a little one-on-one date with Joey, and Maria comes up and she confronts her. Now, did she go a little bit like, girl, like what's going on? Yeah, I think she should have come at it from a little more of a chill standpoint, but it's Maria. It's just who she is, and for that, I can't dismiss her. But she basically goes to her, and she's just like, hey, I don't understand, like, who said this about you. Like, I wasn't saying that you were old. I was just saying, like, girl, you should own it. Like, you're hot. Like, that's all I meant. And Medina at this point, like, just didn't really want to talk about it. She was just like, I have my reasons for feeling like that, and I just don't want to talk to you about this right now. Like, I'm waiting for Joey. Like, that's all I'm concentrated right now. And she kind of just, like, dismisses her, which, granted, good for Medina. She goes back, so Maria goes back into the room where all the women are, and she basically says, who is starting shit? Can you just tell me who is saying shit about me? Who is spreading these rumors that I said X, Y, and Z about Medina? And Sydney pipes up and she's like, well, I heard you saying X, Y, and Z, and I didn't think that was fair. Sydney's really, Sydney was saying, I don't feel that Medina deserved that. Like, that wasn't right. And Maria's just like, I didn't mean it like that way. She's like, who cares that she feels like, who cares that she's 31? Like, I'm 29. Like, why does she feel this way? And then Sydney says, well, you shouldn't act like that because you're dismissing her feelings. And Maria says, you know what? You're right. Maybe I was dismissing her feelings, but that's not what I was trying to come across as. I was coming across as like, girl, like, you're beautiful. You're hot. You're fucking 31. Own it, kind of thing. And I do really I believe her. I utterly believe her. There's nothing about Maria that makes me think that she's playing like an evil game. Not yet, at least. I don't get that vibe from her. I just get a vibe that she just has a big personality. That's just who she is. And I don't have a problem with her because I've also seen sides of her that are really nice and very vulnerable with the other women in the house, which I appreciate. I feel like Sydney is just kind of really gonna stir the pot with this one and for the next episode it really shows that it's going to be like a whole bunch of, she said she's not good for you, she's not here for the right reasons, and then Joey has to go and talk to Maria and be like, hey, I heard you said X, Y, and Z, and oh, Lord have mercy, really blown out of proportion, like Maria said, for no damn reason, like literally no damn reason. We get back to Lauren and we see Lauren starting to spiral hard, which is how we get to the beginning of this episode. We finally catch up to that time. But Lauren's like, I'm going to go talk to him. I want to show him like my positive, bubbly self because I feel like at the the group date, like I wasn't my best self and he just saw me crying. And this girl starts to spiral hard. Like spiral, but almost to the point where it almost made no sense to me. Like, I'm like, how did we go from, yeah, I can't wait to talk to him, like, and keep it positive and show him my real self, to I'm going home. Literally, it went from that to I'm going home. Obviously, time probably passed a lot slower than we are seeing on TV, but it was a jump. It was a literal jump. She just started to get so anxious and so annoyed and so pissed off at the fact that she wasn't getting time to talk to him and everyone else was. And she started to panic. And she just goes up to Allison, and I forget who it is that she's sitting with. And she's just like, yeah, I'm just pissed now. I don't even want to talk to him anymore. I'm just pissed and I'm going to go home. And Allison's like, what? She's like, what are you talking about? Like, just calm down. Like, you'll have your time to talk to him. Like, it's okay. And she's like, no. I'm just pissed now. I'm annoyed and I'm pissed and I think I'm just going to go home. Literally goes outside, starts talking to like her, doing her like moment interviews, the side interviews. And Joey comes out and he's like, hey, he's like, I'm just, wanting to catch up with you and see if you're doing okay. Basically, someone whispering in his ear, like, hey, just so you know, Lauren says she's going to leave. You better go and talk to her. That's basically what a producer probably went and told him. But she, like I said, is spiraling. She sits down. She walks out with him. And he's like, oh, do you want to stay here? She's like, I don't know. She's like, I'm wearing a leather dress. But okay, fine. This girl is absolutely crazy. She is nutso. Is she good reality TV? Absolutely. Did she give a million red flags to the point that Joey was like, this girl needs to leave and I'm okay to let her go? Absolutely. Everything the way she acted that whole time in that interaction with them was proving to Joey that she is not the one for him. Like, it was like, okay, I think I'm okay with letting you go. I could just feel the vibe that Joey was just like trying to be nice, to be like, hey, like, I'm sorry that you feel like you want to go home. I'm sorry that I didn't give you more time. Like, are you sure this is what you want to do? And she was just like, yeah. She's just like, I'm just like not into this anymore. And he's just like, and he literally says, he's like, I'm sorry that this, this probably just wasn't the right kind of environment for you to meet someone. And I could just tell Joey was just like, this girl needs to go home because she's not the right one for me. Like, she is not the one. Did she make really great TV? Yes. Did I want her to stay for like a million more episodes? Absolutely. But you could tell that was never going to go anywhere. She is absolutely off her rocker. Oh my God, off her rocker. But they bring her the cake, and basically this is when it all starts. You remember it is because there was the cake at the wedding and at the weddings and all this stuff. And she's like, oh, it better be red velvet. It's better be red velvet. And then he's like, yeah, you got your cake. It's probably red velvet. They open and she's just like, oh, it's not even red velvet. Oh my God. And she like puts it on the floor and he's just like, okay, well, I wish you the best. And she hugs him and says, well, you never know. Maybe I'll see you at Hometowns. And he's like laughing. And, inside he's just like, absolutely not. You will not be seeing me at Hometowns. She sealed her sister's fate when she said, well, maybe I'll see you at Hometowns, because he already knows, like, this bitch is crazy. Like, do I want to be part of this family? And then it just goes back to that beginning scene when she's just like, she starts eating the cake, claws the cake, stuffs it in her mouth, and she's like, throws it on the floor. It's not even red velvet. You just see the what's it called? The pan to the cake on the floor just ripped to shreds. It was hilarious. She didn't even get like in a limo moment, like a goodbye in the limo. Like, that was her goodbye. And was it a moment? Absolutely. It was a chef's kiss of a moment. Abso-freaking-lutely. She will always be remembered. Anytime you see cake, anytime you think about like the best exits of Bachelor history or Bachelor franchise history, you will remember Lauren. Yes, you will. And for that, she's a queen. For that, she is a queen. But it was also like she just left so soon that in the moment while I was watching it, I was like, this is so random. Like, this escalated beyond repair. Like, this escalated. I couldn't believe it. I literally could not believe it. Then we move on to the rose ceremony. Dun, dun, dun. You put the music. We find Rachel gets the first rose, then Lexi, then Kelsey A, Kelsey T, Leia. You see Leia talking about how she got the first impression of Rose, and you can kind of see how she's starting to spiral just a little bit, because she's like, I did have this card. Did I do the right decision by giving it, like throwing it in the fire? Did I make the right decision? Because now I don't know. I gave him the first impression of Rose, but he's starting to get other stronger connections with other people, and I didn't get a date this time. And I was like, always what happens. Anytime you get the first rose and you don't know if you're ever going to see him again and have one-on-one time, difficult. Very, very difficult. But you had a lot of great women leave this. Sydney is the last one, by the way, to get a rose. She's talking the whole time about how she doesn't know it. I know for a fact they kept her there because they knew that there was going to be drama between her and Maria that they wanted to really stretch out. So they kept her there for that reason and that reason alone. Then we had, Joey saying goodbye to all the women. We lost Erica, my Dominicana Latina. I'm very upset because I loved her and I thought she had like something with him, but I honestly think it's because like she just didn't have enough time to talk to him. But I loved her. So I hope I see her on Bachelor in Paradise and she gets a man. She is lovely. But we get our preview for next week. Looks like things are gonna hit the fan. Actually, Lexi does say that at the end of the episode, she's just like, you know what? Like, I feel like right now everyone's starting to boil up, and stuff is gonna really blow up. Shit's gonna hit the fan. Like, she literally says that, and I agree because we see this preview, and in this preview, oh my, we have tennis. We have the Bachelor Golden Bachelorettes on, which is our lovely Askin is back here. And I'm very excited to see them because the Golden Bachelor was just absolutely perfection of a season. And I can't wait to see if there's going to be a Golden Bachelorette because it seems like they're going to be, and I can't wait to see who the Bachelorette's going to be. But yeah, then of course you've got all the Sydney and Maria drama that is definitely going to ensue. We have Sydney going to Joey being like, oh, Maria's not the person you think she is. And then you see him like pulling her aside and dramatics. But I'm like almost positive that they're probably just like hyping it up a little bit. Sydney's going to go home. Maria will stay. Because I see her in the previews for like having a one-on-one. I see her having a little bit of a moment with Jess where they're like going at it. So there's a lot more for Maria. I really doubt the next episode's the last time we're going to see her. So looking forward to the next episode next week because my God, this one was so good. It was such a great episode. But before I go, I just want to talk about one more thing, which is what I think about Joey. And it's the fact that I feel like he treats every single girl the same. I literally have no idea who he actually is interested in or really feels a vibe with. Because he kind of just acts the same with everyone. Yes, I can see who he's physically attracted to. But aside from that, I can't really tell like who he's really into, you know? With other bachelors, you can already start to see like their front runners very early on. And with him, he treats every single girl the same that I'm literally like, I couldn't tell. Like, did you have more of a spark with this girl or this girl? Because you haven't made a difference in your body language, in your face, in what you're saying, nothing to any one of these women. So I don't know if it's like he just doesn't know yet who he's really into, or he's keeping his cards really close to his chest, or he doesn't like anyone and he's just on the show. Like, I really have no idea who he's actually like really, really building a strong connection with. And it might just be like we're not seeing enough, and eventually as these women start to go, we'll start to really zero in on the women he really likes, kind of thing, right? But anyway, guys, that was today's recap. If you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. Let me know if you liked this video. It helps me out, helps out this channel. Let me know in a comment below what you thought of season 2. Who are you seeing that possibly Joey could like that maybe I'm not seeing? Do you think it'll be Daisy? Do you think it's going to be Lexi? Do you see some Kelseys? Because I do see some Kelseys in the preview, just not a lot of camera time yet. And obviously, we've got Lexi. We've got some people. So let me know in a comment below what you're thinking. And of course, guys, if you liked this video and I provided you with some value, of course, click that subscribe button. It always helps me out. And I really do appreciate it. But of course, if you don't want to subscribe and you just want to come see me next time, no problem. I will see you here in the next video. Bye.